What's up, you guys? Jaden here with the Moonlight Craftsman channel. Today we have a special project. We got 3 vices here. We all have our vices. Us craftsmen have more than most probably, but we need to get these off the floor, make some stands for them so we can put them into proper use. Going to be simple and strong. This vise here, it's a good old Wilton, just good for general purpose. Always need one handy. We got a leg vise here. That's good for blacksmithing, hammering blows, transfers the blows. And this one here, it's good for extracting secrets out of your enemies. I believe that's what this one's for. So I just went to my local steel supplier and just looked for some scrap metal, found some 12-inch wide flat bar, 1/2 inch thick. I thought I got a hell of a deal on it. It was like 100 pounds for $100, $1 a pound, but my boss told me that it should be more like 60 cents a pound. So I thought about just marking these out and blowing them with the torch. But I thought, maybe not everybody has a torch. So, if you don't have an oxyacetylene torch, you can just use water jet. I happen to have exactly 3 pieces of this I-beam, pretty stout stuff, about 4 inches wide, and it's about 5/16 to 3/8 inch thick material, so pretty strong stuff. I'm just cutting off both ends with that bandsaw. It actually cuts pretty dang square, surprisingly, so I won't have to do any adjustment after putting these on the plates. But this flat bar that I got, it had quite a bit of rust on it. Same thing with this I-beam. It'd been sitting outside, but just getting that stuff cleaned up. Got some little paint removing discs from Menards. They work pretty well. They're about $7 a piece though. So it cost about $20 just to get the rust off, But, I was kicking up so much dust, I felt like Luke Bryan there for a second. But anyways, these plates, nothing special here. I'm just centering it up over those plates, marking it out 4x4, and getting them tacked up. This is the round one here. I did try and make these top plates as small as possible because I didn't want them to stick out any further outside the perimeter of the vise than necessary, just because it could get in the way. Not 2 seconds after I started welding, I ran out of wire. And this little welder here, it's a pretty good little welder, but this is about working at capacity for this little welder. I wasn't even sure if it was even going to be able to weld this 1/2 inch thick, but it did it, and it turned out pretty good actually. Now this one is for the leg vise, and as you can see, the hole pattern there is a little bit closer together, so I was able to utilize the I-beam here to kind of put those 2 side holes inside the web of the I-beam, so that worked out. Now here on top of that leg there is a little taper, and I knew that, but I wanted this hole to fit tight, so I knew I was going to have to taper it a little bit. So the length of this stand here is kind of critical, because you want it to, when it's bolted down, to be touching there at the bottom with that leg. So I had to do some grinding with the Dynafile or band file, and to get that just right. And I think it turned out pretty well. You'll see here in just a little second. But now just a little bit of mineral spirits, preparing these for paint. I painted the bottoms with a fast drying paint, went and took a shower, came back, set them on the bases, and painted them with this black appliance epoxy from Menards. Now I'm consulting the master plan here to see where I'm going to put these. Yep, right there. And getting these wedge anchors ready. That's what I ended up using here. I did have to shim this one. The concrete in this building is not so level, but I made it work. Now this vise is pretty cool because you can rotate it. You just have to loosen it up and then you can spin it, and then it'll stay loose, but once you tighten it up, then it locks your material in place and locks it from spinning. Here's the old Wilton. Nothing special about this vise here, just a good old dependable vise. Now, for the leg vise, I got to knock out a little bit of concrete underneath there, right where that hole is, because that stub goes below the floor plate a little bit. Got that, and there's actually just a tiny little gap here at the top in between there. It looks bigger than what it is right there, but that actually works out real well because it sucks it down to the floor plate. Now this thing's an old antique, but it's actually in pretty good shape. It's just a little small. The mechanism works real well, and looking forward to using it. So small project, not complicated, but it's going to help out tremendously in the shop. For a video suggested just for you, click the thumbnail on the left. For the latest video, click the thumbnail on the right, and to visit the channel, click the icon in the center.